Hi, I'm Rebecca. I'm the Psych coach, and today I'm going to be giving you 5 quick tips on how to reduce feeling overwhelmed. Feeling overwhelmed can happen because of external stressors, things that are quite difficult in our lives, and we can often feel flooded with really intense physical emotions. So listen up, because I'll give you 5 strategies to help calm yourself back down again. Tip number 1, leave the situation. If you're able to, leave the situation when you're feeling totally overwhelmed and flooded with adrenaline. Sometimes you're not able to do that, but if you're having an interaction with someone where you're feeling overwhelmed, try and ask if you can leave the situation. If you're at your desk feeling completely overwhelmed with an email you've just got, try and leave the situation. Wherever you can, try and exit the situation, even if it's just for 5 minutes, because if you stay in the situation and feel totally overwhelmed, you're not going to be able to think properly, you're not going to be able to be productive, you're not going to be able to articulate yourself, and that isn't good for anyone. Tip number 2 is try and mentally distract yourself. If you've got that rush of adrenaline, if you're feeling totally flooded with physiological symptoms, try and mentally distract yourself. That could mean going onto your phone and watching something from YouTube, picking up a program that you've been watching. It could mean picking up the phone and calling someone. It could mean doing a mindfulness exercise. It could mean going out for a walk. It could mean, if you're in a situation that you can't leave, trying to engage in mental distraction, which is where you try and shift the focus away from the feelings that you've got going on in your body to your external environment. So things like counting the amount of people around you that are wearing trainers, counting the amount of people around you who are carrying backpacks versus handbags. It might sound trivial, but mental distraction can be as effective as literal distraction. And it will give yourself time to calm down. It will give your body time to calm itself, and it will stop you from obsessing about the physical symptoms that you're feeling. Tip number 3 is tell yourself you can cope. When you're feeling flooded with negative emotions, of course you're going to think, I can't cope, this is really horrid. But tell yourself you can. The way you think affects how you feel. And if you tell yourself you can cope with a situation, you're putting yourself in a better situation for dealing with it than telling yourself you can't cope. So look out for the unhealthy thinking trap of, I can't cope with this. Of course, we can cope with stuff. It might feel really horrid, it might feel overwhelming, but we can cope. We're more resilient than we give ourselves credit for. So hold on to that thought process. Tip number 4 is engage in visualization of you coping. Play out in your mind replying to the really difficult email that you've got. Play out in your mind getting to the end of the bus journey that you're feeling totally overwhelmed being on. Play out in your mind getting to the destination that you want to get to in the car where you're suddenly feeling totally panicked and like you can't get to it. Play out the scenario of you being assertive with someone where you're feeling totally overwhelmed, and imagine yourself leaving the situation feeling really triumphant and like you've succeeded. And tip number 5 is engage your senses. When you're feeling overwhelmed, it's really common to turn inward and to focus on everything that's going wrong in your body. Your heart palpitations, the shaking, the sweating, and it's not pleasant. The more you focus on it, the worse it gets. So instead, try and engage your senses. Focus on your immediate environment. What can you see? What can you hear? What can you smell? What can you taste? What does it feel like to be sat on the chair you're on? What does it feel like to be in the environment you're in? Is it cold? Is it hot? The more you engage your senses and the more senses you engage, the less your mind is focusing on how overwhelmed and unbearable the situation is. And that again will reduce your nervous system and help you deal with the situation more effectively. So, as a recap, if you can, leave the situation. Distract yourself if you're able to with some kind of device, with mental distraction. Engage in high frustration tolerance thinking. Think about visualization and imagine yourself coping, and engage your senses. If you've enjoyed today's video, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and I will give you plenty of psychological strategies on living a healthier and happier life.